Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily devotional where we continue in our Ephesians series, and today's devotional is entitled Raised and Seated with Christ. From Ephesians 2:4-7, let's reflect on how we've been raised with Christ, seated with Christ, all by virtue of our union with Christ. So let's read Ephesians 2 verses 4-7. But because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ, even when we were dead in transgressions and sins. It is by grace you have been saved. And God raised us up with Christ and seated us with him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus, in order that in the coming ages he might show the incomparable riches of his grace, expressed in his kindness to us in Christ Jesus. So what does it mean to be raised with Christ? Raised with Christ. Well, it's a bit like that picture of maybe a hot air balloon, right? As you're in the basket, it's heated. The hot air fills up the balloon, and then slowly you raise into the air. Well, it's a bit like that in some ways. What happens to the balloon happens to you. You're in the balloon. You can do something you had no power to do. Be raised above the ground. Likewise, in union with Christ, in Christ, by the Spirit, you've been raised with him and actually seated with him in heavenly places. To be raised means to share Jesus' resurrection. And, amazingly, his ascension into heaven. You've been raised by union with him, because the Spirit is in you, and the Spirit is united to Christ by virtue of the Holy Trinity. Because the Spirit's in you, you are in Christ, you are seated with Christ in heavenly places. This is mysterious and amazing. We've been lifted into those heavenly realms. We are where Jesus is. So while our bodies remain on the earth and our spirits, our souls are in Christ, are in those heavenly realms right now. We're already raised into heaven. We are basking in the glory of God right now in our spirits. This is why back in chapter 1 verse 3, Paul could say that God has blessed us in the heavenly realms with every spiritual blessing in Christ. In the heavenly realms, we have every spiritual blessing. It's though we're in heaven right now, whilst our bodies are on the earth. I know this is mysterious, but this is glorious. Because you're united to Christ. You've been raised with Christ, ascended with Christ into those heavenly places. We're enjoying the fullness of life in God right now. So we talked about what it means to be raised. But secondly, it talks about us, what does it mean to be seated with Christ? He goes further. Not only have we been raised, we've been seated with him in the heavenly realms. To be seated speaks of rest, speaks of completion, speaks of victory. As Christ sat down at the right hand of God, it speaks of the victory of Jesus. Likewise, in Christ, we're sat down. Our victory, we are victors over demonic powers. We are victors over sin. We will never be condemned. Our sin has been dealt with. We are in victory. And this takes a lot of working out, I understand, and we're talking in broad brushstrokes, but in Christ we have sat down, we're in a place of victory. The victory of Jesus is ours already. We can never be lost. So do we remember that we are no longer a citizen of this kingdom of this world or the kingdom of darkness, but we are actually citizens of the kingdom of heaven, because that's where we are right now. Isn't that amazing? Do we realize this? Do we live with our minds and hearts set toward heaven and on heavenly things and what our King wants. And Paul sums this up so well in Colossians 3:1-3. Since then, you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things, for you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. You are in Christ, in the heavenly realm. So we're to think of such things as this. God bless you.